and welcome to Life. Original text by Charles Mee, adapted by the ensemble. My name is Willow Jade Norton, and I am the director of the reading you are about to see. Now, I say reading because this is a new work in development that the actors will be reading for you this evening. Our reading typically consists of actors on a stage with music stands, scripts in hands, performing in front of a live audience. The audience then offers feedback to better future development of the play. Tonight will be similar, but where we won't be meeting in the same space, we will be meeting in the same time. The Student Production Association of Lane Community College and myself greatly value the element of live theater. So tonight, everything is live. This is not pre-recorded. There are no green screens or virtual backgrounds or any editing. We're just sharing this moment with you. Right now, the actors are in their houses, apartments, and bedrooms, eagerly awaiting in front of their screens to perform for you tonight. New research shows that watching a live theater performance can synchronize your heartbeat with other people in the audience. So we invite you to transcend space and meet us in this time. Now, if you like what you see here tonight, consider making a donation to the Lane Community College Theater Department. Those funds go to student scholarships and opportunities for community members and students to make art together. Now, this play is absurd. It is non sequitur. It's wild and lovely. Maybe like life. Enjoy the show.
Hello. I was meant to be here before anyone else. I'm the
prologue.
Oh. In my day, we always had a prologue to tell everyone what their evening was to be.
Like a trailer.
So everyone wouldn't feel lost and hopeless and pointless and wondering what they were doing here.
Hello. I'm the actual prologue this evening. We're different each night, and this one's mine. And I gather that because I'm late.
You've been told things that just aren't true. We need to start over.
Even though these days it's no longer actually possible for a prologue to say what something actually means.
We can still tell them what they're about to see, though. You are about to see a world containing many, one might even say millions, of amazing individual human beings, living in a world of absolute meaninglessness.
Wait a minute, there you go with assigning meaning. You heard the, young one.
I'm young.
No one pretends anymore that they can say what anything means. I mean, philosophers don't pretend they can say that. Neurophysiologists, biologists, brain experts.
Well, playwrights will often tell you what everything means because they don't know any better. They think it is possible because they don't know anything except how to put together a narrative story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect. But then they write, and then they stop reading philosophy and science, and they start thinking they know what everything means.
They even think their shows will tell an audience what to think about their lives, about the world, about society and politics and everything.
About theater.
And it will. Yeah, but it will be, it will be, you know.
It might even be that Nietzsche, he turns out to have been right when he said people make up stories to hide from themselves. The fact that beneath their feet lies an abyss of utter meaninglessness.
Well, I think we can say now, more than that, is that everyone, meaningless or not, is a work of art, And everyone can agree with that, right?
And therefore an extraordinary, fantastic creature, a work of art.
The thing is, ultimately, the ultimate true prologue is that human beings are not able to understand their lives, or the world, or anything at all. We are able to experience life, but not to understand it. That's it for us. We experience life. We don't understand it.
I don't think people are going to like that.
They want a story that makes everything come together, or at the very least, an explanation of what happened. So there's some understanding of what it's all about, not just a bunch of random blah, blah, blah.
You know, it may be that they'll just have to figure it out for themselves. Although, of course, like life itself, I suppose that's only one possibility.
So everyone will need to content themselves not with understanding, but simply with the experience, whatever that may be. Or else, if that's not acceptable to them, then they can leave, go out and have a cup of coffee and a snack, and then come back whenever, or else they could just leave if they would like to.
No, if they leave, they will feel bad, like they killed themselves.
Oh.
FOMO is the closest we get to knowing what suicide feels like from the other side.
A teenage girl in America steps forward, looking hesitant, and examines her surroundings. She does something self-destructive. I was hoping for a point. I was hoping for some help with my life. But, so, now I see, and so. People come through from one side to the other, in and out. Early fall in Eugene.
Yes, early fall.
Looks like beautiful oranges and reds, a rainbow of warm tones. Tastes like pumpkin spice and hot chocolate. Smells like fresh rain. Sounds like frogs and rainfall on the rooftop as I'm trying to sleep. Feels cool and crisp with a soft breeze blowing on my bare skin.
Early fall feels like warmth. Smells spicy, walking slowly down Broadway, just to feel the crunch of the fallen leaves on the ground, while the air smells spicy from last-minute barbecues and bonfires. Seeing those walk fast, you know they are tourists and not from here.
Crisp, decaying, vibrant, quieting, reverence, a hallowed cathedral. A woman dressed in wool and silk and gold dances down the street sparkling. The wind gracefully lifts the edges of her skirt and the leaves rain around her. Her hair whips into her face, but she doesn't try to contain it.
Not quite old, but enough. The swings in the weather reverberate in my knees. They're sensitive in the chill. It smells like memories, school, the smell after a rain. Some may not like the smell. Some think it smells like mold. I love the cleanliness, the reflection of the sun after. Against the sidewalk in the street, it can be blinding.
Late spring, passionate colors, yearning, reaching, blooming. That's what a song smells like. Flowers, wet, juicy flowers, and trees and sweat and fuck that blanket. I'm gonna run outside topless for the next 20 minutes until the rain comes back. It's quiet. The 30-story clown takes slow, easy, thunderous steps down 6th Street in well-worn clown regalia displaying every color of springtime. As he smiles, you notice that birds are chirping, and suddenly there's sounds all around. He's gonna make everything okay. He's Clown God.
I can feel warm sun rays against a cool breeze. In my thoughts, my dad came to mind. However, it was followed by sorrow, thinking how he once lit up my world and was a source of joy.
My favorite season is summer. I walk outside and feel the warm sun bathing on my skin. I take a deep breath and smell fresh flowers. I taste lemonade and big scoops of ice cream in the air. A gray, fluffy cat walks by me, rubbing up against my leg, begging for some pets. I lean down to pet it, and it rolls onto its back. So I give it a belly rub, which gives me the biggest smile.
Possibility, freedom. My self-esteem feels tight and kind of itches. Tastes like deli sandwiches and overripe fruit. Smells like someone else's house in a different city. I'm not with the people I thought I would be with. I try not to feel sad about that. Swimming in freezing cold water, freshly melted from the snow on the mountains, and seeing kids pedaling their bikes as quickly as they can uphill with their parents walking close behind.
Summer, let the sunshine in. The cleansing sounds of the flowing water of the river, the taste of sweetness, the warmth and smoothness of the rocks against my body. A hummingbird with a fast pace and high energy flies right in front of my face as it zooms over to the hanging fuchsia and sips some sweet nectar. And I smile.
After the song, a number of friends sit at cafe tables.
Having cups of tea.
So we're sitting like this. Tom and Edna are a couple at one table. Harriet and Millicent are a couple at another table. I'm at a table, alone, talking on my phone to someone. George is also alone, with earphones, Skyping with someone. Oh, we're friends.
To me, if I wanted to have a happy life, I would just want to have a life with you.
What do you mean if you wanted a happy life?
I do want a happy life. I do. Would you live your life with me?
Yes, I would love to. I love you.
I love you too.
Do you think we can be together our entire lives, or things will change? Will you change? Do you think your feelings will change?
The way I feel feels more certain than any other way I've ever felt. About anyone or anything, it feels forever. I've never been more sure of anything. I feel it so solidly within my whole self. I love you.
I want to live with you forever.
I know how I feel. This is how I feel.
Well, and feelings are absolute.
And you can count on it forever. You can depend on it. So it will bring you total peace.
Could we be considered a couple and tell people when we introduce ourselves that we are a couple?
Be forever.
Or not, if you prefer not.
Oh, I would like it because I love you, and just because of that. And also, just as a secondary benefit, it would make me feel so secure.
This is a feeling we like.
Nothing better.
Security is such a rare thing these days. I don't understand it. It feels so warm, so good, so eternal.
You would think it'd be something everyone could hold on to, rather than have a fling, have another fling, marry again and again, feeling always on the edge of the cliff, anxious, and thinking it could all pass away at any moment.
That's why When I say I love you, I want you to know you can count on it forever. So we both feel secure in our lives, at peace, centered, relaxed, warm, comfortable, at ease, and happy. When you think how we used to live in the ocean and you think we don't live there anymore, really, we just took the ocean with us when we came on land. You know, the womb is an ocean, really. Babies begin in an ocean, and human blood has the same concentration of salt as seawater. And no matter where we are, on top of the mountain, in the middle of a desert, when we cry or sweat seawater. In the beginning, all human beings were half human and half animals, like the ichthyocentaur, which was half fish and half centaur. They were human down to the waist, and they were dolphins from the waist down, and they had the feet of horses or lions. They were related to seahorses. And so for my diet, I shouldn't forget seaweed, nori, digitata, kelp, bladderwrack, because the body should only take in foods that come from wet places. We need to replenish all those vitamins and minerals that come from the sea. That is why we recommend seaweed, and not just, as some people think, for body wraps or for their firming and toning seaweed facial, but as they say, what is good for the outside of your body is good for the inside too, because we are all sea creatures. And we cannot thrive unless we embrace our oceanic selves and remember always to have an oceanic diet.
I brought you something.
Oh, what's that?
It's a tree stump.
Oh, yeah. A decayed, rotting, beautiful tree stump from the middle of the woods.
I have something too.
I'm leaving this right here.
And you've inspired your friends. More art installations?
Popple. This was my childhood. This was my first pet. You can tell it's in great shape because I didn't let anyone else touch it. Soft, cuddly, and warm. Fur in orange and then hair in green? Complimentary and wild. But more importantly, look, 2 positions. Can you believe it?
Well, this is a real leather elephant that I was actually coerced into buying. But I still like to look at it because if you look closely, you can see that there's still real fur left over on the ears.
Objects can be art. A pine tree draped with paper bags and straws made of aluminum and cardboard.
Terracotta flannel jacket, once belonging to a father, now to a daughter.
A stuffed animal that's left out in the rain, that appears brighter when the sun comes out, then a cloud comes in.
A snowflake floats down from the sky and melts on the burnt branch.
Pink satin pointed shoes with the ribbons all frayed, sitting on top of a nightstand.
A butterfly diorama found in a secondhand store, brought home, admired.
A window pane with a handprint wishing to go outside.
With this guitar, we can touch without touching.
An old picture frame that used to have a family photo in it but has been repurposed as a whiteboard.
Whoa, you're just gonna leave us here? What? I can't hear what you're saying.
It's a nice place.
Well, sure, but just to be here for no reason at all.
Well, for the reason of being somewhere, you'd rather be somewhere than nowhere. Where?
Right. Even though we have nothing to do.
Except to be.
To be. Right. Is this a philosophical discussion?
What would you rather have?
I'd rather have lunch.
Would you eat?
Oh, I eat anything.
Here's a protein bar.
Thanks.
Okay.
What is the point of being? What is the point? I mean, is there life on other planets? Like, after we're dead? In a trillion years, some other planet will be the center of the universe. And maybe life forms there aren't what we think of as people, like with arms and legs and brains and a bone jar, but rather sentient silicone dust or plants that move around like octopi. And just what is the point for them? Just to enjoy the moment? Or whatever few years they have and that's it? No worry about the point of life or the joy or the goal or the purpose or the meaning of it or the function or the job of it all. Just existence for a while and then disappearance with everyone saying, oh, but that's a planet that can't support life forms anyways because we're all so far gone, not even the rocks remember us anymore.
Right.
Well, I wasn't hoping just to get left behind. What I had in mind was an active life.
Sure.
But that's not how it's turned out.
I understand.
Oh my God, it's a urinal.
Hi.
Wow,
Hello?
a celebrity?
Right, I know.
What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
Well, I mean, are you making an appearance? Are you gonna make a speech or something?
I'm just visiting friends.
Wow. You know, I've always wondered what it would be like to be a urinal. Well, not that I want to get pissed on or anything. I mean, I didn't mean that in poor taste or anything. I mean, I really always wondered what it was like to be a urinal. So used all the time.
Well, sure. I'm sure you can imagine. Fame makes fools of us all, it seems.
Well, no, not really, actually.
Isn't it time?
No, not for objects.
If anyone has anything else in mind, I have a poem I would like to recite. Is that okay? I mean, I don't want to take attention away from the urinal or anything. It's just, this is actually something I had in mind to do before they even got here, if that's cool with everybody.
Sure.
It's something, in fact, I hope you'll all join in on if you want to.
Sure.
That would be great.
So I'll start and you join in.
Good.
Okay. Just like this. Yeah, and get your arms into it. Yeah, that's right, just like that. Okay. Do I have your attention?
Hey!
Do I have your attention?
Hey, hey!
Yeah, do I have your attention?
Hey!
Do I have your attention?
Hey, hey, let a professional take over, okay? Do I have your attention?
Hey!
Do I have your attention?
Hey, hey!
Do I have your attention?
Hey!
Fuck it up. Dance. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't dance. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't dance. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't. Do I have your attention? Fuck it up. Dance. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't dance. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't dance. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't. Do I have your attention?
Do I have your attention?
Hey!
Do I have your attention?
Hey, hey!
Do I have your attention?
Hey, do I have your attention? Do I have your... Do I have your attention?
You're no good to the living if you're too afraid to bleed, and that's why your show starts now. Your show starts now.
We are able to experience life.
But not to understand it.
That's it for us. We experience life, we don't understand it.
So, we have these questions.
Why does my skin feel crooked?
Why does my dad not accept me for who I am?
Why do I feel like an imposter?
Why does the future seem so terrifying, yet so full of possibilities?
Why do we have to apologize for asking a question?
Why can't I live on a beach for the rest of my life?
Why is love so elusive?
Why couldn't I see?
Why do you believe you failed?
Why doesn't Spanish come as easily to me now as it did when I was 7?
Why can't the world just live in peace?
Why can't I keep anyone close?
Why is it that whenever something good happens, something bad is waiting just around the corner?
Why can't I remember things from my past?
Why do we abuse each other?
Why does it feel like I'm moving through quicksand at times?
Why is love romanticized?
Why did you see them differently?
Why can't you just shut up?
Why do happy times seem to go by so fast?
Why can't I play in tune?
Why is it so difficult to lead a simple life?
Why is the dog on my lap?
Why is it so hard to take care of myself?
Why, when something good happens, am I waiting for the other shoe to drop?
How do you look at me differently?
Why do you constantly try to convert subjectivity into objectivity? Why?
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 When we come to the end of the music and dancing, people find chairs in the cafe and sit down with one another and have a conversation. I miss postcards, you know? Postcards are unique and no one sends them anymore. Just isn't done. And I often wonder why not? Does society take a moral position on postcards?
It's true. With a novel or a book, you always come to an end. But you can just keep reading or writing one postcard after another and never come to an end. Each one of them unique and never an end. That's a kind of pleasure we simply don't practice anymore. Seems harmless enough when you think about it.
There's no point to it, and yet you're right. It's such a pleasure. It's not what you call goal-oriented, and that's the pleasure of it, I suppose.
And I like that you can never tell which is the front and which is the back of a postcard.
I'm worried about what we know these days. Leonardo da Vinci only had 83 books in his whole library. And you might say that was a lot of books for the 15th century. And that's true. But still, only 83 books? He wasn't distracted by a billion things. He could focus and think about what he thought, thoroughly. Really spend some time thinking about his thoughts, exploring them, seeing what he might do with it, what he might make of it. Whereas these days, you might snap up a little bit of this and a little bit of that and stick them together and think, wow, that's cool. And move on. It's a superficial life. Yes, it might be wide-ranging and free, but still superficial. Open-minded, but not so much that your brain falls out. To overcome that, to feel fully and subtly and completely all the nuances and quiet little aspects, the deep flowing things. That's so hard these days. I think that's why so many of us turn to love and lovers, to lend support and meaning to the struggle.
I was hoping for a point. I was hoping for some help with my life. But, so, now I see. And so.
Hey! I'm worried about what we know these days. Anger loves a target. Don't make it yourself.
We are all the stars of our own story and writing it all the time.
We see you, girl.
Oh. They noticed me. They noticed me the way I noticed them every time they walk in. I thought it would change something to be noticed, to be acknowledged, but as much as I am seen, I am not felt. I cannot touch another person for fear of hurting them like I hurt myself. They notice me now. Is that even what I wanted?
I like a lover who kisses my fingertips.
Oh, you're funny. Or even better, my wrists.
I like a lover who kisses my face and my eyelids, who spends a lot of time kissing my eyes and running their fingertips around my nose, their tongue along my lips.
I like a slow, deliberate touch.
I like a lover who plays with my feet.
I like a lover who's a little bit rough. I love having my hair pulled and my legs pinned like we're wrestling.
I like a lover who holds my hips or enters me from behind. No, not behind, but from behind.
I like to have the lights on.
I like to have it last a long time.
I like to start with a few clothes on and be undressed slowly.
I like to have my thighs massaged.
You know, I like to hear a man say my name.
Ooh.
Thing is, when you said we ought to be together, I thought you meant it.
I did mean it.
Why don't we give you some space?
Bye, lady.
And then it turns out you travel all the time.
Just for my job. Just to do my job.
And you want to keep that career.
Well, I think I should.
But I don't want to be with somebody who isn't with me.
So, what do you mean? We're breaking up?
I didn't ever want to break up, but you've left me no choice.
No, it's you who give me no choice. Really? No.
In childhood, in our father's house, we lived the happiest life. We knew our role and worked together. No one worked in isolation. That's what family looks like. That's what happiness looks like. I thought we saw the same picture.
I want happiness too. Heaven and earth were once a single form, but when they were separated from each other into two, they bore and delivered into light all things. Trees, winged creatures, beasts reared by the briny sea, and the human race. Following one's passion independently doesn't mean that they aren't part of something great.
The best thing in life is to be free from sickness and have the power to take hold each day what one desires tightly.
The time of life is short, and holding someone tightly doesn't speak to the quality of that life. And then we are hidden beneath the earth and lie there for all time.
I can't.
Whoa, disappointed, angry. I'm just gonna put you away and stop on you. perfect shape. Okay.
I thought I was your only love.
I don't know what I want. I just know what it's like to be really, really sad.
That's not fair. You said open relationship, and that breaks my heart. When you say, I don't know what I want, what that says to me is you don't want me.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm the one who's sorry. I should go check on her.
Give her a moment and take your own.
Okay. Thank you. Just don't let her leave altogether, please.
A life should be open to a million fantastic choices.
No human was ever born without suffering. And yet we work against it, scheming ways around it. Life is a harvest that people must reap like ears of corn. One grows, another falls. Why should we moan at this? The path of nature that we must tread.
Well, people need to grab as much pleasure as they can in their daily life. The future will always be unknown.
A being is nothing but breath and shadow.
Well, time makes all things dark and brings them to oblivion.
A cup without a bottom is not put on the table.
It can only be lifted if one is prepared for a flood.
Getting back together. I wish I understood. There's too many factors for me to understand. Getting back together. I wish I understood. There's too many factors for me to understand.
We should all embrace love because
This is a good thing.
we need to be touched and we need to be felt.
We need nurturing. Hi, friends.
Okay, we need some manifestation of love.
Because life is a process of becoming.
And once you're involved in that, you're lost forever.
But what a fantastic journey.
Every day is new. Every flower is new. Everything in the world, every morning of your life.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's pause for a moment. Actual prologue here. In Japan, the running of the water is a ceremony. You have to ask yourself, when was the last time you listened to the water?
People take showers and run water in their sinks every day of their lives, and they never hear it.
Exactly. All should go home tonight and turn on the faucet and just listen to the water.
Because
It's beautiful.
Well, regardless of everything going on with the pandemic, how many people these days are intimidated when someone says, I want to touch you?
Everybody has to be loved.
I was talking with a little boy once, and I said, "What can you do, David?" And he said, "I can spit." And he could spit. And I said, "What else can you do, David?" And he said, "I could put my finger up my nose." And I said, "You bet you can." Isn't it some sort of miracle that you can raise your hand whenever you want to and want to put your finger up your nose and it gets there? Well, we should celebrate our wonder, everyone. You've got to have people who are interested in your tree, and not the lollipop tree. And you've got to find people who are interested in their tree. You've got to say, show me your tree, Johnny. Show me your tree, and then we can know where we can begin.
You can't blame people for being how they are.
Right.
I could agree with that.
I could agree with that.
Oh, what's the argument here?
Well, not so simple. Sometimes you look at the branches of a camphor tree and you see how tangled they are, and they make a person feel estranged from the tree in a way. And yet it's because the tree is divided that into so many branches that sometimes the image is used to describe people in love.
What I think is what love is. Love is how you relate to people.
Or if your love is channeled some other way, it's how you're cold or hurtful or indifferent to someone.
And so love is who you are and how you are and what kind of person you are.
It's the most factual thing about how you are.
Yeah, and you can't talk your way around it, make it come out some other way. It remains the deepest fact about you. The only way you really know how you relate to other human beings is in the most secret place, when you are most vulnerable, most open to your private self. When you're making love.
And you don't even know what you're doing until you're doing it. And then you see what sort of person you are. Whether you are making love with someone else, then you've done it. It's not talk anymore. You've acted out your most private, deepest self and lodged it in the flesh of another human being.
So that another person feels pain or pleasure, and then you know, this is who I am.
This is what I do.
And who I am.
What I want to do.
It feels good to me.
The person or behavior I can't keep myself from is so strange, so idiosyncratic, is so odd, so that I usually repress it.
If I find myself irresistibly drawn to somebody with particular eyebrows or a comforting voice or something even stranger, a large birthmark or a lisp or a certain weakness, a vulnerability, so that I sense they are hurt and need me. And then I care for them like a wounded animal. This gives me purpose. If these are the things that make me weak and shaky with desire, I know this is my truest self. What makes me break out in a sweat, it feels incredible to me. And of course, I feel embarrassed by it because people will think things of me about the kind of person I am.
Well, and you think, I don't even know where this comes from. You think back through your childhood, could it have been this or that? But the thing that makes you so crazy with desire is too exact and too strange to have come from anything you can remember.
You have touched the real mystery of human beings, the thing beyond any knowing, the thing that comes from so deep down that no one can tell you where it comes from.
And you hope it is good and sweet and generous and warm and gentle and lovely.
Because this is what you are giving to someone you love.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Talkback for Life, originally by Charles Mee and adapted by the wonderful ensemble you see with us. Tonight we will be having a Talkback, which is a Q&A with the audience, and it will be led and facilitated by our wonderful director, Willow Jade Norton.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you, actors and crew. This was awesome. I'm so proud of everybody. So I'm going to start us off with a couple of questions. And I'm going to do my best to try to get in as many things as I can in our brief time to talk about this process and how we made life. A couple of folks I want to just introduce, here we go, is Laura, our stage manager. So Laura, if you can go ahead and do a good wave so everyone knows that you're here too. Awesome. Also, we'll have our dramaturg joining us shortly. But first, I'd love to just see a show of hands from the actors. How many of you have worked on a virtual theater performance before? So just put your hands up if you've done a virtual show before. Wow, okay, pretty incredible. All right, now I'm curious to hear, how was this experience similar to in-person theater? And that can be actors, as writers, since all of the actors also did the writing for this, and also Laura as a stage manager. So how was this experience similar to in-person theater? And you can, let's see here. Let's go, raise your hands. All right, let's see here. Abigail.
The feeling definitely before the show. I had the butterflies and the excitement that I always get before a show, even in person or virtual.
Awesome. Let's, who else wants to speak to this? Elena.
Well, even though this is like all virtual and I haven't seen anybody here in real life during this whole thing, I feel like really connected with everyone here. And like part of that is because of this shared experience, and it's really weird and like different than what we're used to. So we all have that experience to connect with each other. And yeah, because we're all in the same time but different spaces, it's still like we're all working with each other and playing off of each other. And that is something that I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting to feel so connected and like such a community with everyone, but I did.
Yay. Laura, as the stage manager, do you want to speak to the differences or some of the similarities of in-person kind of tech crew team and then what this is like?
Yeah, so it's similar in some ways and different in others. You know, a big part of stage management is making sure that everything is unlocked and ready and running around a lot. A lot of stage managers are running around. So here I'm virtually running around, and it's similarly harried at times, but also, well, it's physically demanding. So that's nice, you know, sitting in my own home. But beyond that, it's very similar in terms of having a wonderful collaborative cast, getting close to people, and getting to watch the entire process as the stage manager from kind of somewhat outside, but also getting to see each stage in the process. It's amazing and transformative.
Wonderful. I'm getting lots of like fabulous emojis and yays and love from all of actors, family and such, which is awesome. So a lot of people are curious about now, did you guys write your own scripts? How was the adapting process? Let's see here, Ian.
Well, we wrote the seasons, the objects, and the why questions is what we did. Laura wrote some other segment. I'll let her speak to that if she wants to. But yeah, it was sort of like a Willow and River, the dramaturge, sort of arranged it with our original writings and kind of theatrical equivalent of photoshopped everything together.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, the ensemble rewrote about, I would say, 2/3 of the play. Does anyone want to talk about what was it like being both a performer and a writer in this process? Amy, go for it.
Well, I guess it was interesting. It was a lot different because I'm not interpreting the works of somebody else. I'm not speaking as a character. It's just me. And so I think that that was a lot different of, okay, like, how do I say this now? Because normally I'd be getting into my character's head of, okay, what are they thinking? But in this case, I know. And so in a way that was, for me, was actually harder to figure out, like, how do I just be myself, but in a play? So it was really interesting, but it was a good experience.
Wonderful. Does anyone else want to talk about wearing the two hats? Yeah, Marla.
I love to write, so having that opportunity that Willow gave us as the director to do some writing, I really enjoyed that and really enjoyed putting a bit of ourselves in the play.
Nice. Alessa, go for it.
I remember the day that we all sat down as a cast to write together, and the prompts were given in a way that pushed us to be really honest with ourselves. And I think it really helped get into a vulnerable space where we could be just really real. I know for me personally, some of the things that I faced when I was writing were, deep, dark things. So it was really nice to be able to bring those to the forefront. It was therapeutic, and yeah, it's great.
Nice. Let's see here. Laura.
So even though I didn't perform in this, I did help out with writing some of it and also just being part of the creative effort. And I will say that it was really amazing to know that we're the only ones who will ever perform this show. This is our show. There's a ton of ownership in it. And this show is an experience that, we're meeting in time for this serendipitous moment where everything came together in the right way. And it won't happen again in the same way anywhere else with the same people.
Yeah, that's a great point. Charles Mee, the playwright, says, he says, please pillage from your own life and the world around you. And I think that y'all did exactly that. Amy, did you have something you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, I guess it was also really interesting because I am somebody who enjoys writing, but I'm definitely not somebody who enjoys sharing what I've written. And so I think, Lisa talked about how it got us into a very vulnerable place, and it was something that I really, really was not prepared for. And there were some times when I kind of had to turn off my camera, just kind of take a second, because I was just like, oh gosh, I didn't know that I was going to be going here in front of a bunch of people that I don't know. And that's kind of one of the sad things about this experience, is that I really don't know any of you. And since I think I'm the only person who is not in Eugene / never lived in Eugene, I'm probably not ever going to meet any of you. And so I don't really know, I don't think I'll ever know exactly what's behind what you wrote. I don't know where these things came from, but I think that that was kind of the beauty of the show too, was that we all were somewhere very different. And I think that this show means something very different from each of our perspectives.
Beautiful. Yeah, just so the audience knows, most of the cast is in Eugene. Amy is out of town, and also Laura is out of town. Laura's even in a different time zone. So making the time to meet is kind of magical. Now let's talk about some of the funny quirks of virtual theater, like muting and some of our process. Does anyone want to speak to any of that? It could be joys or frustrations of some of the quirks of this world. Yeah, Colin.
I literally muted myself at a moment because I wasn't in the moment. I jumped ahead a moment, and even ahead of costume, so that can even happen. Always, the muting and unmuting definitely keeps you alert, and gets this new muscle working where you either have to choose to be quiet as a mouse, or you got to get your finger ready for click, 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 one or the other, or sometimes both. So I'll speak to experience literally tonight. Even when you're muted, you're still in the moment, and realizing that and go, oh, nope, do that, take again, even though it's live. It even happens if it was live theater, if someone went up on a line or missed a cue or dropped a prop or brought on the wrong prop, and then a whole new story happens. So developing that sense of being in the moment really helps in alerting you to that mute, unmute.
That's great. Yes, Ian.
Yeah, I just think it was hilarious. Like, you press mute and then you like, for me, I was just scrambling to get everything in place in time. So there's just like a ton of noise going on. And if you forget to mute while you do that, that comes live for everybody to hear. And it's just like a funny mad dash to like get everything organized before you're back on screen, and then remember to unmute yourself in time. And yeah, to me, it was hilarious and also super frustrating, but mostly hilarious.
Thank you. And joining us now is also our dramaturg, River. River, can you give a wave? So River, we're talking a lot about the differences in process of in-person theater versus virtual theater. I'm wondering if you can speak to the adapting process of how, just on the page, it was different when you're visualizing it for the virtual world versus it being live. Oh, and you're muted, which is there.
Yeah. Yeah. Things are very different live. The initial creative process is different. The actors so very often become the characters in this side of the role, as opposed to, I don't know, that doesn't make a lot of sense now that I say it out loud. On the spot speaking. Not my game, not my game. I write things down. It was just very different because the rehearsal process often informs how the character gets written and the voice of the character. And with such a limited interaction pool with the actors, that was definitely something I noticed that was very, very different this time. But you worked tirelessly to make this a seamless process, and I think you did great.
Thank you. I like that you would speak about how we didn't know the abilities of Elisa's violin playing, but we loved the idea that she could play. And so we were like, we're going to put this in and we're going to hope that this magically works. And then we were just like joyfully surprised. So there was a lot of that kind of stuff in this process. I'm curious for everybody, have themes of the play popped up in your life and that you've either thought, I want to bring that into the play, or you're like, I want to put that, back into the play and not have it in my life? Anyone want to speak to that? Yes, Colin.
The recent weather here, even though it feels like an early spring, there's something about some mornings that remind me of fall. And there was a section in the show that was actually removed, not because of, well, maybe because of writing, I'm not going to speak for that, but it was about a squirrel. And I've been noticing squirrels more, and almost their kind of lively behavior, and seem to be more in tune with that.
That's funny. I like that. Yes, Marla.
Yeah, whenever I'm in a show, it seems like parts of the show, then all of a sudden those words pop up a lot in my real life. And this is about life. So many times I would understand things in a different way with a different meaning because of the words in the show.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, I felt that because Charles Mee, the playwright, gave us permission and really actually encouraged us to pull from our life, it felt like everywhere I went, I was looking for little pieces that I wanted to then bring into the play because we could. And I love that that is really what his work is all about. Every time you do one of his plays, they're always vastly different because he greatly wants the ensemble to have an investment and a part of themselves in the work. Ian, did you have something you wanted to say? Go for it.
Yeah, I feel the same way as Marla. There's just this weird effect where when I worked on a play for a long time or a scene or whatever, it just is like exactly what I need to hear in that moment. And this play is no exception. Like so many times going through my life, especially now, just remembering like we're here to experience life and not understand. And it's just been a total like release for me. It's been super necessary. So I'm really grateful to have been a part of it.
Awesome. I'm curious to hear from everyone, or at least if you'd like to share, what are some of your takeaways from this show, but also this process of doing live performance over the computer and having to make peace with the internet or with your pets or your children, but really having your not just your actor self or your artist self, but your intersectional self a part of this process. I'm curious if anyone wants to speak to that. Yes, Laura.
Something that I've really internalized and taken on during this is the idea that mistakes happen and that's okay, or not even mistakes, but oopsies, accidents. The internet goes out, or for some reason someone ends up muted, and people around it will bend. You can make mistakes in your life if they don't hurt anyone else. The world will be forgiving, and you'll find a way to shape it and make something new and creative. And it's not a bad thing to mess up. Everyone, at least myself personally, I won't speak for anyone else, sometimes feel so attached to the idea of perfection and doing things right and shaming myself when I don't, and just realizing that you're pretty much the only one shaming yourself for that. The world will work with you to make things good.
I love that. Yes, Marla.
I can just say that I'm so grateful that we can do art like this, even in these times. Like, how cool is that? So I really appreciate that we can. It's different, but we can.
Absolutely. So Elena, go for it.
Yeah, just to add on to what Marla just said, this whole experience has been so amazing and therapeutic in a way for me, because I mean, for almost a year at this point, we've done nothing theater related, in person or online all that much. And so this whole experience has been amazing, and this play on its own is such a great message, including especially for right now, because we're able to experience life but not to understand it. I think that's kind of how everybody's feeling right now. We're like, why is this happening? So just this experience has been really amazing and a lot of fun and just really helpful, and has made me feel better in my life. And yeah.
That's fabulous. I see a lot of head nodding. I think we all can agree with that we are makers and we want to be making. And this was an opportunity for us to do that. So I thank SPA for making this happen. Student Production Association, fabulous, great work, you guys. We're gonna have to conclude, but I wanted to know if there are any last things that you very much want our audience to know about this process, about this project, about life, making art. Yeah, Abigail.
Just I've really realized that you can't take art for granted ever. Going to a theater and feeling the energies all around you, we can't take that for granted. And every piece of art is beautiful, and we just need to be grateful for everything that we do with it.
Thank you. Does anyone want to add to that? Gina?
Just that life, even during this pandemic, when everything shut down and went on pause, life moved on, and life is slowly starting to come back and to be able to create art and create amazing things. Being in this production, it brought back for me like being able to look around and looking at my world from my own personal, from that to my career, everything, and being able to say, this is my life. This is life in general, and it's beautiful, no matter what. Good, bad, ugly, it's beautiful.
That was lovely. I wish we could chat more, but I said brief, and so I have to keep that. I just want to remind folks that if you want to see this again, we will be live tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Again, via the YouTube, and please consider making a donation to the Student Production Association, which is the Lane Community College Theater Department. The link was here on the page that you went to for more projects like this to continue. Thank you so much. Have a great evening and enjoy life. Bye, everybody.